Welcome back to Kevin Pollak's Chat Show. I am, as always, Chat Show. How the hell are you? You know, my guest was kind enough to ask me, and it took me aback. It actually sat me in my seat. That's a nice question. So I'm going to put it to you, wonderful listeners. How are you? Write to us. Let me know, please. Some of you have. I've got one to read today. Write to us at kpcsfanmail@gmail.com, and please, just tell me how you're doing, and then get to your question. Sammy and Jamie not here. Jamie and I enjoyed a hell of a fun show. Tune into that last week. Other recent shows you want to know about? How about extremely recent Academy Award winner Allison Janney, who my guest today and I both worked with on the same show on the same day. I just dropped 2.5 hours of Bill Hader. I did. Yeah. That was, let's see, and also the longest on-camera interview with Elon Musk, and of course, hero and friend Ricky Gervais. These are all in the library, folks. What are you waiting for? Well, wait till this is over. For those of you who give a good goddamn, the marvelous Mrs. Maisel recently won a Peabody Award, whatever the hell that is. And then later that night, the new president of Amazon Studios, Jennifer Salk, announced that the show is officially picked up for season 3. For context, we're just completing episode 4 of season 2, which won't drop till after Thanksgiving. But look at that, staring down the barrel of season 3. It's something to look forward to, right, kids? Yeah, and I will say, script-wise, reaching and exceeding expectations. And, you know, there's the cast member expectation of, oh, God, please let this show continue to be good. And then there's the fan of the show expectation. And I'm happy to report that so far, so good, it makes me want to cry. There you go. I don't know how else to – there you have it. Let's get to your fan mail. If you write to us at kpcsfanmail@gmail.com, you might have this happen. Todd Richards wrote, I just wanted to write in and say I love the show. It helps pass the time. Is there any greater compliment that I could ask for? That I help pass the time? Oh, probably there's more to the sentence. While I'm dealing with various stupid but necessary tasks of life. Housework, commute, etc. Thank you for being specific. You've made me feel worse. Also, I wanted you to know that since Harry Anderson passed, you've become my favorite comedian who often wears a hat. Well, again, this may be my favorite fan letter in history. Anyway, it continues, in one of the recent podcasts you mentioned for actors, there is a strange pressure to only accept work based on its artistic value, and that sometimes you just need to, quote, make the donuts, end quote, and get paid. It reminds me of a story I read about Michael Caine responding to some idiotic question about bad movies he'd done, and said something to the effect of, I've never seen Jaws 3, I hear it's terrible. I have seen the house it paid for, and it's magnificent. End quote. Keep up the good work or don't. I'm not your boss, and the podcast is free, so go ahead and do whatever you're going to do. I love this. I mean, seriously, it's not my show. Wow, he's not done. And it's not my name on the main page. If you want to burn the whole thing to the ground and alienate everyone who you know, I'm certainly not going to stop you. Quite frankly, I'm a bit pissed that you think I need to be involved at all. Later, Gator, Todd, Michigan. Todd, you're my hero for the next 9 seconds. Really, thank you. And God save the Queen. I've got another one to read, but I feel like we should get to our guest.
Read it.
Okay, it's been deemed. From Mike Gully. Hi, Kevin. Thanks for asking how I am. Finally. I'm fine. If only the letter ended there. That would have been the most genius move of all. But still, you're 70% genius. By the way, he goes on, you provided me with one of the greatest moments in my life. Well, what? My father, who passed away December 3rd, may he rest in peace, loved listening to your show. We shared the Carl Reiner Gem episode together, and even though he suffered from advanced dementia, talking about his father, and regularly forgot things immediately, he constantly referred to Carl's stories in our daily conversations. As his birthday approaches, I think of these good times I had with him daily, and I want to thank you for your contribution. Big fan from way back, and then in quotes, Foo Bars in Pleasant Hill, California, signed Mike Gully. Foo Bars in Pleasant Hill, California, not too far from where, not terribly close, but within a 400-mile proximity to where our guest was raised. Regional. Absolutely. You're Northern California. Pleasant Hill. Yeah, Fubars must have been a club that I worked in 40 years ago, and proud of it. Damn it. Thank you, Mike Gully. And now Sacramento's own Colin Hanks. Hello, Colin.
Hello, Kevin.
How are you?
I'm good, buddy. How are you?
Are we still a game or half a game ahead of the Dodgers? Feels like it.
Is it still too early to really?
It's June. It's June. It's early June.
Well, it is. I did say to my wife once the basketball and Stanley Cup final was over.
Right.
Basketball, it's the finals. As in, there's multiple finals.
Yeah, right.
Whereas in hockey, it's the Stanley Cup final. There's only one each year.
Yeah.
Then she goes, ugh, now what? And I go, it's baseball, baby. And she goes,
for the next 4 months.
She does not care.
No.
She does not care. No, she's not into it. But she does like going to the games because she loves the fair food. She loves the food.
Yeah, yeah.
I can always get her with nachos,
Yep.
maybe a hot dog.
You remember Jamie, my better half?
Of
Her
course.
love of stadium nachos, as she likes to call them, is so profound. We now have professional grade stadium nachos in the house
Wow.
for gatherings.
Oh, I can't
Bring out the machine.
I can't have that in my home. That is not allowed in my domicile.
Is that right?
Oh, if we had that, I mean, we would bring so much shame upon our dojo. Like we would just be gluttonous with that.
Well,
you guys are disciplined.
Well, it's only at gatherings.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, so if there's a barbecue to be had.
I like that. But hey, anytime the Giants are a game up on the Dodgers, that's a good day.
You know, it's in my DNA. I'm a casual fan. I can't believe they sat down my high school mate, Dave Righetti, after arguably being responsible for 3 World Series rings.
And one hell of a pitching.
Rookie season,
Yeah.
1983, July 4th. I guess the anniversary is coming up, 35th year. Pitching for the Yankees, no-hitter.
There you go.
Yeah.
Not too shabby.
With Nixon in the stands as Steinbrenner's guest.
Oh.
And Righetti told me that in the locker room afterwards, at his locker, having showered with a towel, standing there from behind him, he hears, Righetti. That'll tighten a sphincter.
Oh.
Turned around, former prez.
There you go.
Hell of a game, kid. So, buddy, welcome back to the show.
Thank you. It's so nice to be back.
We've had
at the show.
so few return guests.
Really? I was wondering.
I'm trying to put a sparkle on
No,
things.
no. I was. It did. As I was driving over, I was like, I don't think there have been many return guests.
Maybe 3, maybe 4 out of 9 years.
And those 3 or 4, discounting myself, probably have a lot more stuff to talk about than I do.
No.
But
it's been since 2010.
But well, has it really?
Yes, according to the internet.
Oh, geez. Okay. Well, then, yeah, we got some stuff to talk about then. I got some bones to pick.
I will just jump to what I think is the present, following you on the Instagram, and you posted something about while location scouting with, and then you mentioned the cinematographer. It's
Yes.
advantageous to have him take your picture, and then was a picture he took of you.
Yes.
Does that mean you're location scouting for another film you will direct?
No, it's just a little music video that I'm doing for some friends of mine.
Great.
Which is a nice little creative valve.
Fantastic.
To do. Yeah, I mean, I've been sort of juggling all of these things of late between the Life in Pieces show that's been on for 3 years, and then the doc stuff that I really burn out.
You don't have much time.
Really gloriously, though.
I mean,
it was
a single
really
camera, half hour.
It was between that schedule, the schedule of trying to of releasing 2 different documentaries, making one, as well as trying to keep the machine rolling in terms of trying to create shows and all that sort of stuff, as well as just like the carpool schedule. I just burn out. And so last summer, I was very fortunate in that we found out that we got picked up super early.
Yeah.
And I took the summer off, which I had never done. I mean, don't get me wrong. I've been unemployed for many summers.
That's not the same.
Not the same, because I knew I was going to be going back to a job. So last summer, I took that off, and I was going into that season going like, oh, man, it's going to be so great. I'm only going to be doing the show. I'm not doing anything else. So fried at the end of that 3rd season, I was just warped. So this summer, I'm doing a very similar thing. And if I can do little things here and there, like a music video.
Right.
that's just fun and easy.
How badass would a unemployed actor be to say to their friends, "I'm taking the summer off"?
It's so strange because I find myself saying it sometimes to people, and they go, "Oh, you had to take summer off." I haven't had a summer off since college. Oh, really? Really? But there is this.
It's all relative, man.
It's all relative, and I am fortunate in that when I say this to my friends, they do understand that when you're in the circus, as we are, your life is not your own. Your schedule is not your own, and everything stops to the train that is show business that must be going forward at all times. It cannot ever, 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 ever stop. And that can take a toll.
Yeah.
It can take a toll. Now, when I am working, even the hardest day, it's nothing.
Yeah.
It really, the perspective is nothing. But when you're in that tunnel and you've been going nonstop for 4 months.
Oh, yeah, we're not saying
it's
crazy. Important work. We're saying it's time consuming.
No, that's it. That is a perfect, you've whittled it down. I'm not saying it's important. I'm just saying it's time consuming.
As filmmakers, if we've learned nothing, it's how to edit.
That is, thank you for editing.
Always be cutting.
Next question.
That's the new ABC for me. Always be cutting. Oh, man. I love the All Things Must Pass, the Rise and Fall of Tower Records. Thank you for making that film.
Thank you.
So my first directorial was a documentary as well. And speaking of cutting, I would still be editing now.
Yes.
I cut for 10 months. And the only reason I stopped was because there was a Sundance submission deadline.
Yes.
Because there's no correct way.
No.
There's no script. No. Certainly in my case, there was no script. And in the documentary format of telling a story, how I've had a lot of directors on the show, and they all say that post is their favorite part because that's the final rewrite and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
They lack in social skills.
They prefer to be in a darkened room with just one other person.
Right.
Yeah.
So how did you find we'll start with the editing process.
Yeah. The first go-around was really sort of eye-opening because there was a moment of like, oh, this is what those filmmakers are talking about.
Yeah.
And that really is such an exciting thing to see what it actually is.
Yeah.
When you see a first cut, there is the first 10 minutes where you go, oh God, what have I done?
Yeah, see, if it was only 10 minutes, I'm going to get the Guinness Book people on the phone because...
Well, I always say like the very first 10 minutes, because at the end of those 10 minutes, you're already having conversations of how to fix it.
Sure.
Those 10 minutes are still replaying in your mind.
Yeah,
sure.
Don Cheadle directed the Miles Davis and starred.
Which I was just thinking about the other day. I really want to see that. I still haven't seen it.
It is one of those film experiences that is all-consuming.
Yeah.
And it was for him as the filmmaker.
Yeah.
And he said after seeing the first cut on this very show, he said, he walked away and said, not only am I never doing this again, somebody else figure out how to edit this film because I want to go away forever.
It's hard, but for Tower, what the added relief was, we had been filming in some capacity or another over about 5 years.
Whoa!
And I had never seen any of the footage. I remember doing the interviews
from choice.
Not by choice, by necessity. We didn't have money to upload it and give it to an editor and watch. Right. We just didn't have that luxury. And so there was a huge relief that, okay, the last 5 years has not been a total wash. Now, what I've learned since the second one is just because you didn't see the footage for 5 years, you still have, the outcome is exactly the same. Oh, thank God, this is, it looks okay.
Right.
The angle's all right.
Yeah.
I'm getting them to tell the story. We're capturing some moments. That's really exciting, and it is that sort of that moment where you really what was it that you said the writing the second.
It's the final rewrite.
The final rewrite.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And sometimes page one rewrite.
Yeah, and performances are made and killed in the editing bay.
For me, I think what's so different, and I'm looking forward to experiencing this, is I've only worked in doc world, which I think is different. I think it has a totally different spirit, and it lands differently, and it doesn't. It's a little bit more antiseptic.
Well, its effort to entertain by design is almost polar opposite.
Yeah, I sort of feel like with docs, you can entertain, you can craft a story, you can do all those things that are the tenets of filmmaking, anyways, telling a story. But there's very little artistic wiggle room.
Yeah.
Where you can smudge the lens just a little bit and say, well, maybe they'll just think that we've done some great artistic choice here.
Yeah, I mean, you can manipulate emotions in a doc.
Yes,
similarly.
absolutely.
I just meant the sort of the train that drives a narrative of a piece of fiction versus the unnecessary pressure of a doc to have a train driving anything. Right? Because you're informing and entertaining.
Yeah.
Which is, for many of us, a fucking joy.
Yeah.
And I don't care about the emotional involvement of any two characters. If there is, fantastic. But it isn't what I need the way I need it. Like so many film-going experiences now of fiction and narrative. If I'm not emotionally connected to something or some people and their journey, oh man, I'm gone. I just tap out.
That's true. Yeah. I'm very much the same way.
Yeah. Whereas in a doc, I sort of emotionally attached to the journey of the information and the story that actually happened.
Yes.
All the pressure of, I don't know, there's no leap of faith. It may be that simple. There's no leap of faith.
There's no leap of
this shit happened, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you don't have to suspend disbelief because it actually did happen.
Right. Yeah. But I mean, that's a big one.
Yeah.
For so many people you talk about a film-going experience, expectations, of course, destroying almost everything, story-wise. But just the sense of, I just didn't buy it.
Yeah. I understand that. Well, that's the thing that's also like keeping me from not doing narrative stuff.
I have to tell you this story that as a baseball fan. So, because the title, I'm not buying the premise, is our heading. So there's this baseball announcer bit. A wonderful stand-up comedian, Jim Metters, who I moved from San Francisco out to Los Angeles to pursue our stand-up careers, had this one bit that just became, had a life of its own. And I would share it with others, giving him credit always, and then that had a life of its own. And I was at, this Big Slick, the fundraiser. So a couple of years ago, we just had it, raised $2 million a couple weekends ago over the weekend.
Every year, I'm so
Mercy.
Jealous that I can't go because it looks like a blast.
You'll eventually go. Yeah. It always has a couple new people. Like Charlie Day. It was just like, I was telling him I can't do this, and I finally had the time. So Brett Saberhagen, Hall of Fame pitcher.
Very nice man.
Wonderful guy. He's standing at the end of each night, there's a VIP suite where there's karaoke and a poker table. So he's standing at the end of the poker table, and the poker table is filled with other players. And, people are always telling stories and jokes at the poker table. And I remember the baseball announcer bit, and I'm thinking, Brett might like this. He's standing at the end watching us play poker, so he's at a long 9-foot table away from me. I go, Brett, hey, this is a bit you might like. And the premise of the bit is there are two announcers in the booth calling, as a batter steps up. And this particular batter keeps fouling off the 3-2 pitch. And these guys up in the booth have stats on every batter who steps in. Mm-hmm. They've run out of stats.
Yeah.
And now they're improvising.
Yo.
And these are the last two people maybe in existence you want improvising. Here's a 3-2 pitch, fouled off again. You know, it's a beautiful night out here at the ballpark. Plenty of stars up in the sky. Remind me of my favorite astronomer, Copernicus. You know, a lot of people don't know he had a first name, Rick. Rick Copernicus, some kind of stargazer. Here's a 3-2 pitch, fouled off again. You know, a couple of guys mixed it up in the stands earlier tonight. Reminded me of a guy who could really keep things under control, Mahatma Gandhi. You know, a lot of people don't know Mahatma had a younger brother, Bobby Gandhi, played the minors in Nepal for a couple of years. Never made it to the bigs. Oh. But, you know, the Hindus had to be plenty proud to acquire Mahatma in that deal, some kind of leader. Here's the 3-2 pitch, fouled off again. You know, we got the Jewish holidays coming up here pretty soon. Reminds me of my favorite double play combination, Manish Tana over to Halila, over to Hazeh. Boy, you talk about guilt in the infield when they made an error. Some kind of Jew holiday. Here's a 3-2 pitch, fouled off again. Say, did anybody ever see E.T.? That little fella just wanted to go home, didn't he? Boy, we sure could use him now in our bullpen with that split-fingered fastball, E.T. Some kind of space creature. Here's a 3-2 pitch, fouled off again. That one's coming up here in the booth. Boom! That reminds me, I'm in a foxhole in Nam.
Some kind of space creature.
And a live grenade enters our foxhole, and our sergeant puts it out, throws it out, falls on it. And I'm thinking, here's a guy with the future in the majors thinking of his team than his personal stats, some kind of dead sergeant. Here's a 3-2 pitch. Pop-up. That's a major league pop-up. Don't know if that ball is ever coming down. Fun thing happened before the game. Tony Tonello singing the national anthem, forgets the words, but regrouped in a hurry to sing Love, Oh, Keep Us Together. And I got to tell you something. She had the sold-out crowd of 42,009 on its collected foot singing, I will, I will, I will. Jackson makes the catch behind second base. I'll be having dinner with her and the captain next Monday night. Now, as a baseball fan, Jim Edwards is the man's name who wrote, created, and performed that legendary routine. I am merely passing it along, sharing it with you. On occasion, he has insisted I now do it better than him, but it is, let's be clear, the property of Jim Edwards.
And Brett loved it?
I do this, and everyone at the poker table has your reaction.
Yes, of
They're
course.
They're losing their minds.
Of course.
There's so many. It's so well built.
Yes.
And
flawless.
And delivered and edited. And after two, here's a 2-2 pitch fouled off again. I noticed Brett Saberhagen, Hall of Fame pitcher, standing at the edge of the table listening, is not only not laughing, he's not smiling. And by the third, here's a 3-2 pitch fouled off again, he has a grimace on his face. He's unhappy. And he remains unhappy without wavering for the remainder of this 4-minute routine. Mm-hmm. And I am baffled. It's all I can do to not stop doing the bit and ask him, what is your problem?
Yeah.
But I get to the end. Everyone's falling out laughing. I wait for everyone to finally calm down from laughing. And I say to a still unhappy Brett, Saberhagen, Brett, not your favorite bit? I didn't know how to couch it. And he says, in all earnest, without any sense of humor, somebody fouls off a 3-2 pitch twice on me and you hit him. He did not accept the premise.
Yes, he doesn't accept the premise as a pitcher. That is, yes, I totally understand that.
And then continued. You don't let a guy foul off the ball. 3-2 pitch? He's running up my pitch count. Twice tops, you hit him, and he knows it. You know, he knows why you hit him.
This is an animated documentary.
And I reminded Brett on the bus to one of the events just a couple of weeks ago of that very thing that happened the year before. And then he started laughing. He was able to find the humor finally.
But he couldn't suspend that disbelief.
Refused the premise.
Oh.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. Some kind of space creature.
Some kind of space creature.
Yeah.
The structure of that bit really is spectacular. I mean, just seeing you hit those watermarks, and then for each one of those sequences, that is a great.
And also stretching out certain words.
Yes,
the way that only a baseball
announcer would. Yes.
I want to hear about turning 40 this last November.
Oh, yeah.
Because I found it fantastic. I felt like, okay, now we can get serious.
It's funny. I love turning the new decade.
Yes.
I loved turning 30.
Yeah.
A majority of my 30s maybe not so good.
Sure.
But lots of really, really great, the stuff that was really good was really good. And so I went into 40 just going like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
And had probably like the longest like celebration. Like it was like a 2-month celebration because my wife.
That's pretty great.
Yeah. I had always wanted to go. I'd always wanted to go to Scandinavia.
Wow.
Randomly. Weird. But it was just always like a place that I've really wanted to like go and experience. And my lovely wife said, okay, here are your 3 options. Which one do you want to go to? And I whittled it down to Copenhagen. And so we went to Copenhagen and had an absolute ball. It was great.
That time of the year?
In October.
Okay.
The beginning of October. And we went because it wouldn't be too cold. My birthday's at the end of November and is always lost in the Thanksgiving shuffle. And so we went a little bit early. We landed on a Sunday evening when Copenhagen was very quiet. And I went, fuck, I hope this is going to be fun because this is quiet. Just dragged my love of my life to Scandinavia. Shit. Hope this is going to be fun.
Everyone was asleep?
It was just very, that Sunday afternoon. I found out that, hygge is people go to their house and they put on their comfy socks and they get a fire going and they drink wine and they just get comfortable at home.
On a Sunday?
Well, anytime they can.
Oh,
but
I see.
Sunday's preferable, I'm sure.
Okay.
It's, the Danish Sabbath, I guess, maybe.
Sure.
But anyways, we went and we had an amazing time and we ate at these fantastic restaurants and we really had a very memorable trip. But my wife had said, happy birthday, birthday boy, whatever, the first night and posted it on Instagram. And then everyone said happy birthday. And then throughout the course of the next month up until my actual birthday, there was a big birthday party and all that sort of stuff to the point where all my friends were like, when is your birthday? What is going on here?
And when is it over?
When is it over? Because this is longer than Christmas. Literally, we've been celebrating your birthday longer than they're selling Christmas stuff.
Yeah.
This is
Which
ridiculous.
starts in September.
Which starts in September. But I had so much fun. I loved it. I understand how some people can start having midlife crises.
Really?
Around 40. I can. But God, that seems like a glorious waste of time.
The crises?
Yeah, that just seems like hey, calm down.
Also, I will tell you, a couple of decades ahead.
It's a marathon, man.
When you're 54, let's say.
Yeah.
Looking back at 40?
Yeah. Yeah, that's young. That's young.
Super young.
Super young, right?
Yeah. Truly. I mean,
Super
it's
young.
all relative.
Yes.
Again, however, if nothing else,
I don't feel 40.
Realize that with all the 40s, the new 30, 50s, the new 40, and so on, it's all about quality of life, right?
Yes.
And I, you know what? Let's go back to Scandinavia just for a moment because I want to hear details of the fascination you had coupled with the desire to go there, meeting the actual doing.
Sure.
Because it's rare that if you had this long-time fascination or desire, it's going to pay off.
It is rare.
I've not been, so walk me through what the hell is going on there.
So, I'll be honest.
Sure.
There was not...
Finally.
There was not there was no real knowledgeable reason why I wanted to go there.
Just in you.
It was just after I had gone to Japan, I literally crossed that off the list and said, okay, where's next?
Oh, wow.
And for whatever reason, Scandinavia seemed like, okay, well, it's Europe, but not really. It is Scandinavia. It's its own thing. All the flags are kind of similar, just different colors.
Sure.
And I just wanted to. I just enjoy throwing myself into different places. I mean,
and the unknown.
Now, look, I mean, this actually sort of falls into a lot of the stuff that a lot of people are talking about with Anthony Bourdain, which has hit me in a way that I was not necessarily, I wasn't aware of. But the idea of going off to some place and not necessarily trying to curate the most amazing experience, just going and having the experience, that to me is really more than anything else the thing that really sort of excites me. And so for Copenhagen, my wife had heard, and myself as well. We've heard a lot about different restaurants and stuff. They have, one of arguably the best restaurant in the world in Noma. There in Copenhagen, and there's a sort of almost like a family tree of people that have worked at Noma that then have opened up their own restaurants, and so we went and we said, let's go eat everything we can and go have these really great sort of experiences. And that to me, you don't need to have everything planned out. You don't need to know everything about the region. I didn't know a single word that I could use except please. But for me it was just I wanted to be able to just have one of those kind of experiences with my wife, because I haven't had many of those experiences with my wife.
Right.
When I was able to go off and do those things, it was really much more of a solo kind of experience, going off to New Zealand for a long time or going to Europe for work. It was always these things that was very sort of solitary kind of experiences. And so that was one I wanted to have with her.
It's tough to drag somebody to New Zealand for 6 months.
Yeah, and trust me, I was definitely scared to drag, my wife to Scandinavia for 5 days, hence on Sunday going like, shit, I hope this place is cool.
Yeah.
It's certainly very quiet right now, but it was really just sort of, hey, at 40, that's a benchmark, so why don't we have a little benchmark little trip, the two of us.
Right on. I say right on. I mentioned that we worked together on the television program Mom.
Yes. That's where I learned the term sprig.
Right.
Sprig of Mint was the name of that episode.
Right. And a sprig, as it turns out, is?
Just like the smallest little, bit of a shrub.
It's a measurement.
Is it? Is it an actual measurement?
The way you've just described sprig,
I guess.
Sounds like it's a measurement of mint.
An unmetric measurement.
It's undocumented, for sure. It is. So I wrote down, what was your fondest memory of working with me? There must have been something.
Just the laughs.
Professionalism.
The laughs. Nope. Is this a real question?
Not really.
No.
And I read somewhere in the research, it might have just been a random quote attached to no real meaning, that you may or may not have been, or are you, or have you ever been what we call a watch guy?
I was back. Yes, I was back in the day. Yes.
What kind of watch guy were you? Because I have my whole life.
Any kind of watch.
Yeah. Did you collect them at some point?
A little bit.
Not
a whole lot. I liked to collect sort of cheapo digital watches.
He's not wearing one today, listeners.
Well, no,
FYI.
because eventually I realized I don't want to be constantly aware of what time it is. I kind of want to be a little looser.
That's what your phone is for.
Well, and unfortunately, yeah. I mean, the phone is now kind of the watch.
Yeah, you lift it up.
Mm-hmm. And there it is. There it is. It recognizes your face, and then it tells you your face what time it is.
I got a little fascinated with the inner workings of the watches and
oh, absolutely,
and the rich history therein. And
a good watch is hard to deny. You know, like a really great timepiece is a hard thing to deny, and the artistry within it.
Yeah,
I do like. Yeah.
Can we please talk all things Fargo, the television program?
Mm-hmm.
Because it kind of spun me on my access.
Oh.
In terms of not only reimagining a seemingly similar world from the film, but paying homage at the same time. All the things masterfully done, including the acting and the patience of performance.
Well, that was all, that was the duty because of the writing. You know, it was such a surreal experience because on its surface, I think everybody, we all had the same initial reaction. Why? I mean, why would you?
The film won an Academy Award.
Why would you do that?
Aren't we done with this?
That's perfect. Leave that the F alone. And I go back and forth quite a bit in terms of this new kind of world and dynamic between having intellectual property and spinning it off and doing all those sorts of things. But at the end of the day, if something is that great, don't fuck with it. And please don't bring some horrible fan fiction type, screenplay to me because I come on, man, that's not super exciting. But it was sent to me. They said, read it. It's really good, and it was really, really good,
astonishingly.
And it is good in a way that I think a lot of people necessarily don't recognize right away. Right. When I had my first conversation with Noah Hawley, who's really the mastermind of the television show, he said, look, a lot of these first episodes of show, it's a very strict playbook that you have to run by. You have to introduce your 8 characters in the first 10 pages.
Yeah.
And this isn't that. We're introducing you in the 45th minute. And a large chunk of that is going to be a monologue for somebody else. But, what we're doing is different and unique, and it borrows from that universe, and it's building on that universe, but it is very much its own kind of thing because the format allows it. And so that patience that you talk about, I think, is because it was baked into the thing, essentially.
Yeah, and I mentioned the Maisel program and the scripts in terms of being a fan of the show too. So as you're shooting the show, you haven't seen it, but you're falling in love, I guess, with the material.
Ish.
So yeah.
Ish. There's a thing when you're performing into a vacuum, like you do for camera, and you probably know of this as well. If you're not seeing the final product, you don't know what it is. No. It could be literally anything.
Especially when the filmmaker, as is the case in Fargo, is being so specific with the visual.
Yes.
The camera angle, the shooting style, the music, the pace. It's all being done in post. So you have no fucking clue.
No idea. Yeah. And so I know that the scripts are good.
Right.
I know that everyone else's performances are great, and I'm hoping that I'm playing ball with all of them.
I just meant as you're getting one script after another.
The scripts are good. It's frustrated, as an actor playing the role of, oh, God, I wish Gus would fucking come on, man. Come on. I mean, I remember having a conversation with Allison Tolman where I was just super frustrated at how passive Gus was.
Right.
and how he just wasn't able to, I was just having some problem with him. And Allison just looked at me and said, "Welcome to every female role ever written."
Wow.
Welcome, "Oh, honey, everything's going to be fine,
Wow.
So what did you boys do today? And that was that was like a gift.
Yeah.
For me, because it really opened my eyes to just when you do get something that's really great, and when I mean that, I mean a beat, a moment. You got to be so thankful that you just get that.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? And so there was that period where you just go like, I think this is really good. I hope it's really good. I have no idea if people are going to get this.
And so then when you see it?
When I see it, it then becomes a much clearer as to, okay, this is actually really good. Now I really hope people are just aware of it.
Right.
And that is the hardest thing,
sure,
in this day and age.
With 470 scripted shows.
Yes.
Now, but even then.
And 1,000 channels and the internet and video games.
So what year was that first season?
God, I don't know.
Sam?
2000.
Can you look
This
up?
is the point in the podcast where someone's got to Google.
Yep.
Every podcast has got it.
Yep.
Look it up on the Google.
I'm going to say IMDb. Don't go Google. Don't do it.
I think it was 2000.
Well, you don't have
was
to
on
think.
an Olympic year.
We got Sam,
2014.
We got Sam on it.
I'm going to say 14.
Yeah.
I'm going to
First
say
year of the
2014.
Fargo television program. So even 2014, so Netflix is a thing. Mm-hmm. I'm just thinking in terms of the options, because from 2014, although it's only 4 years,
mm-hmm.
if in fact that's all it's been,
Mm-hmm.
While there are now 470 scripted shows, there
Yeah.
are probably only 270 then. It's exponentially gone bananas.
Yes.
Which is great for writers and great for creative folk. But as a consumer, how many times do I have to say to someone, "Yeah, I know, I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
I don't know what
Yeah.
that is."
Yeah.
What do you got, Sam?
2014.
Oh, okay.
Genius.
Great.
Sure. Thank you
That'll
for
work.
that.
Yep. I wear makeup for a living.
Tell me if the following non-racist remark still makes you laugh. Kenny Chen! Because he loves it. Because Kenny Chen loves it. Evil Dr. Chen was the floor director of the video version of the show for 9 years. And I used to say that to his face just to make him laugh. And then we were in the makeup chair, I think.
It still makes me laugh. It still makes me laugh.
Buddy, I want to talk, please, about who along the way of your journey said, "I don't think so," in terms of your performing, either acting, writing, or whatever, dreams and desires. Mm-hmm. Was there a loud, "I don't think so" along the way? Because I know there was for me in terms of someone very early on. Seeing me do stand-up, calling me in as a manager. Let me see you do a scene. I got some sides in the office. You just come and do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then I finished, and then they said, well, listen, acting doesn't have to be everyone's thing. The stand-up's going great.
So not just no to that one thing. It's just a hard pass for everything is what it should be. Yeah, actually, I did have one. This was early 2000s.
Sure.
And I was fortunate enough to have already sort of had the beginnings of a professional career. And I had auditioned for a play at the Pasadena Playhouse.
Sure.
At the time, I was not that knowledgeable about the Pasadena Playhouse. I knew that it had been around for a long time.
Sure.
That was pretty much it. But I went to go audition for Biloxi Blues.
Nice. Which I see you in already.
And, and to a degree, I went, oh, I can do that for sure. And I... there was sort of a little bit of confusion as to what kind of audition it was going to be. I thought it was, okay, well, I'll read, 1 or 2 times, and then I'll get notes, and then we'll do it again, and sort of your standard audition thing. And it turned out to be much more of a rather sort of rigorous work session. With
you and other actors?
With me and the director. Like, it was actually kind of nice. I mean, he really it was much more active than just a regular old audition.
Yeah.
And I think that probably has to do with the theatrical nature of it and whatnot. And I hadn't really done theater at that point for, a couple of years since college. And there, I wore glasses to the audition because I had astigmatism, and I couldn't for the life of me stick contacts on my eyeballs. But I also I wasn't memorized. I mean, it was like we were workshopping, gigantic scenes. So I had the script, and if I wanted to read it, I needed to wear my sunglasses, not my sunglasses, but my glasses. And we do the audition, and it's fine. I have no real recollection besides feeling like, it's one of these kinds of auditions. A couple of weeks later, I am on set. Yeah, I'm on set on Orange County, like working. And I get this call from the director. I do not remember his name. And he proceeds to tell me everything that I did wrong. And if I really want to do theater, and he questions if I really do, these are all the things that I gotta really ask myself.
So let's go to the purpose of the call, shall we? Let's try to break that down.
Was
it to break you down, or was it to encourage you to try harder and come back in?
Here's the thing I feel like. I feel like the degree was, the intent was, I'm going to teach this newbie, I'm going to give this TV actor some knowledge. If he wants to come play with us, this is all the stuff that he wants to do. But he is unaware of the fact that it is just like not coming off helpful, not coming off nice, not coming off any of these things. And by the way, it doesn't have to. Sure, that's fine. If is it a hard pass? Fine.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
Could have told my agent.
I'm fine with that. And I just sort of went, okay, okay, all right. Well, thank you for the opportunity to come in. I really appreciate it. I'll take all that to heart. And I'm sitting there, and I get off the phone. Go back, and sitting on set in my chair. I just got this look on my face, and Jake Kasdan goes, "What are you thinking about right now?"
That sounds exactly like him.
And I go, I just had this really weird call where I didn't get a part in a play, and the guy just totally just undressed me, and I'm just processing it, and he goes, "Did you tell him you're on the set of a major fucking motion picture?" And I said, "No." And he goes, "I would have." and so, at that point, I just went, oh, God, yeah. It just reminded me of anyone can come up with reasons to say, don't do that, or you can't do that, or you shouldn't do that.
Right.
But ultimately, you got to be the judge of that.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Because if you listen to what everyone else says, you should go have some other job.
Yeah. Well, I've finally got to an age where I realized, so I don't need all the fans. I need a couple of right fans, the ones who can actually affect change in my opportunities and involvement here.
Yeah. I'm much more interested in making an actual. I'm much more interested in whatever I do, making a genuine connection with somebody.
Yeah.
And I'm much more comfortable going on a creative I don't want it to sound overly pretentious, but I would a creative journey, an experience of working with someone, that is much more interesting than, well, here's how we've always done it.
Yeah. A collaboration, in fact, sounds fantastic.
Yeah. And look, I think that's why I ended up working in the doc space for so long, because it was my only real way to be able to have a creative outlet when I couldn't be doing the kind of acting jobs that I really wanted to do.
Right.
And I was forced to do the Jaws 3s of the world. So for me, that kind of stuff ends up becoming so much more creatively fulfilling.
Right.
And I think that's probably because it's like a little bit self-generated, or there's a collaboration there with someone where you go like, wow, they're very clearly have a clear vision of what they want, and I'm there to help them make that happen, like with Fargo.
Yeah. Does directing a feature narrative piece of fiction still scratch inside there?
Yeah. Yes, it does, to a great extent.
Does it?
Yeah, I would love to. Yeah, I'm trying very hard to find the right way to get those two corners of the sandbox together, and I don't really quite know how that will, what that will end up sort of being like. I don't know if it's going to be me directing something that I am also acting in, or if it's me sort of creating a project that I can help sort of form and then maybe just direct and not have to put on makeup, which would be nice.
Yeah, that's the route I'm going.
Yeah.
I actually, this next outing, allegedly in the fall, although today the deal is supposed to close on our lead actress, which greenlights everything. I know. I'm knocking wood because this one's been around forever and it's been financed and fallen apart 4 times. But it's something I wrote, and it's something that has had an incredible life already. And the journey of it has taught me more about almost every aspect of filmmaking when you're not on camera. And I interviewed a lot of actors who became directors early on in the your father included, and others. And I did make the hard decision. I'm definitely not going to be on camera. When I originally wrote it, one of the parts of the everyman, the guy in the diner who the detective tells the story to, and then becomes the audience by asking, wait a second. Right?
You mean we're going to fight the FBI?
Yeah. And then I just got to that point where I said, no, I'm excited as hell to be a director.
Yeah.
Why would I want to muddy that and be in a scene with someone and not be present and not be listening
and have my eyes
just
go
watching their performance?
This is a horrible decision you're making right now. This is a horrible decision you're making right now.
You made a left there. Whereas as an actor, I would see the left and respond in the moment. But as a director, I'm just thinking, you just fucked the scene.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I mean that to me, I think ultimately it's a little bit of a comfort issue and a control issue, and those are very much hand in hand. You know what I mean? But to be able to come up with a concept, see it all the way through from the infancy stages all the way to the graduation, that is incredibly fulfilling, and it has made me a much better actor,
no question,
for sure, because I try not to bring any of the unnecessary bullshit to work.
Right.
And I just say, what do you need?
Right.
Great.
Yeah. How can I help facilitate?
How can I help facilitate what you need?
Yeah.
Do you need this? Because if you don't need this, tell me to stop.
Yeah.
If you don't need this extra bit that I'm doing here, cut it now.
I find it almost impossible when the director now, after I've been through that side of it, when the director says to me, I'm the actor, I got what I needed. Do you want to try one for you? And I say, nope.
Yep. No, never.
Because I heard you say you got what you needed.
If you got what you needed, I don't care.
This is your story to tell.
Yeah.
All right. it's time for a part of the show that's called Ask Kevin. You're allowed to ask me any question. It could be sincere or silly or neither.
I get to ask you a question.
That's right.
Interesting.
Silly, sincere, neither.
Is it true?
Uh-oh.
Is it true?
Uh-huh.
And I don't want to start a vile diatribe. Is it true that you've never been to Chavez Ravine?
It's not true. I went to visit my friend Dave Righetti, but I did stop after that. I've not been back.
Okay.
Because I'm a fan, Giants come to town, I won't go because I loathe that place so much because it's so deeply steeped.
This is why I was saying let's not
Not
get
do
too
the
vile.
diatribe?
No. Don't get too vile.
I won't.
I believe the
I
last
won't
time I was
be
on
on
the
it.
show, you went dark.
I can go dark
You
fast.
went dark on that
Yeah, I don't
spot.
think the fans know how that place was built.
Yeah.
And that's the thing.
The history of that is very, very questionable. I will say, though, because I do love baseball, I go to Chavez Ravine. It has weirdly, oddly grown on me.
That's good.
Once I'm in that park.
Sure.
The parking and everything else is
one of the
not
worst
so much.
parks to get to and leave from.
Yes.
The Giants
very,
just
very difficult.
walk there.
Yes. Yeah.
Just walk on in.
But there is something about there is an element now to Chavez Ravine that I appreciate a little bit.
It's great to have a park anywhere near you live and to go watch a game at any time. That's fantastic. And then the rest of it can be go away.
Okay.
But thank you for the question.
Yeah.
And a damn good one.
Okay.
Now it's time for Kevin's Pop Quiz. Between 5 and 15 points possible for each of the following 3 questions. And once the final score is tabulated, it'll be posted on our website along with the current standing among the top 100. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Question number 1. Keith David or David Keith?
Wait. I'm sorry. This is not for time. Keith David is which one? And David Keith is which one?
David Keith was the one in...
He's the actor.
Yeah, they're both actors.
Oh, they're both actors.
David Keith was the one in their Richard Gere, Deborah Winger, fantastic love story.
Okay.
Officer and a Gentleman. So he was the pal.
Yes.
Richard Gere's pal in Officer and a Gentleman.
I've worked with him. I like him.
David Keith.
Yeah.
Keith David.
Yes.
Is the wonderfully hilarious actor. I would best say the father of the date when in Something About Mary when the bubble and squeak gets caught in the zipper.
That's the guy that I worked with. Him, that one.
Okay.
That one. He's great.
Yeah, that's Keith.
He's fabulous.
That's Keith David.
Keith David.
Okay,
Keith David.
Long way to get there, but that is the correct answer.
Okay, great. Sorry.
Question number 2. I'm glad we could get there. And by the way, that was the maiden voyage of that question. And it went pretty well.
Well, I just wanted to make sure it wasn't the host of To Catch a Predator,
Absolutely.
which I thought maybe there was.
Absolutely. Okay. Question number 2.
Bad with names, great with faces.
Carl Weathers or the weather in Carlsbad?
Oh, Carl Weathers every time.
Correct. And last question, Steve?
Yeah.
That's right. 3 correct answers. We've got a winner. No more calls. Pencils down. Yeah, that is how fun that can be.
Steve? Oh, damn, you make me laugh.
Yes, and thank you for venturing back to the show.
Of course.
Continued success. So the early pickup for Life in Pieces, that'll you've already finished shooting the next season.
No, we've got so the 3rd season we wrapped out a few months ago.
Right.
The 4th season picked up 13 only, and we're going to be mid-season. So we will go to work actually at the beginning of August, oddly.
Great.
Or end of August, and we'll go and maybe we'll get back 9, maybe we won't. Who knows?
See how it goes.
We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Regardless, I'm not unemployed this summer because I know when I'm going back to work.
Yeah, that was the weird thing about, and I'll stop mentioning Maisel, about getting the season 3 pickup while we're shooting episode 3 was, so I know what 2019 is going to be.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's good.
Which is, again, for a character actor, not the norm.
No, not the norm
not
at all.
Not the norm to have 18 months.
And, look, this was something that I did sort of, I kind of experienced it on Fargo. The thing that was weird about Fargo is you spend so much time trying to find great material.
Yes.
You spend so much time trying to find a great show, and then you find that show, and it is great, and it is good.
Oh, yes.
And then in that time that it took you to find that show, they create anthology series where you get 1 year and then you're booted out.
Yes.
And that's what happened.
Yeah.
And so we finished filming, and then the show was released, and then we didn't get to go see the crew and celebrate it and do that. All of that was just sort of taken away. And that's built into it. That's what makes that season work. And there's this great sort of bittersweet thing of but that's why.
Yeah.
That's why it was so good. It must be so great to be on a show like that is so well respected that you get that pickup on the 3rd episode and that people are talking about it.
Yeah.
Although you're probably having conversations in that hair and makeup trailer, people aren't talking about it enough.
No.
Okay. That's good.
I also got to a wise age of 100% gratitude, and everything else went away.
Just happy to play.
Well, with these great words and this great production and the great music and wardrobe and all the things that when it all comes together like that, and then the audience actually finds it, and then it's celebrated. And
that's so rare to get all of those things in one fell swoop.
Yeah.
Yeah. In that case, you're just looking to ways to contribute to the ball club, do anything that they ask for you, and hopefully you guys can all get to the ship.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
I'm more focused on my batting average and making sure that the captain's happy.
It's so nice to know that you have a chance to play for the World Series instead of just playing to hopefully make the All-Star team.
That's right. I'm playing for the whole city.
Yeah, there you go.
Great to see you, pal.
Good to see you too, bub.
And enjoy your 40s, damn it.
I will.
Yeah. They are the gateway to the rest of your life. Thank you, Sam, the greatest engineer the world's ever known.
My pleasure.
Yeah.
Good Googling.
Sweet work there. And to Corey Levin in Post and all the folks here at Earwolf and the Hollywood studios therein. Until next time, and as always, get out of my face.